Hello, welcome back. It's time to listen to Mom. So, I'm a little late covering Cobra Kai as a TV show, but it's a show that I have gratefully watched and binge watched every time it's released within 24 hours. Watching the show when it was on YouTube exclusive, but now it's a show on Netflix. It's a show that pays homage to its roots and surprisingly keeps a really interesting story. And if one, thinking about the original Karate Kid series, might actually be better. So this is what I'm going to discuss in today's video, so you can help avoid some spoilers as well. Number one, we will break down weaknesses of the show. So if you haven't watched the show, I'm going to give you just my honest thoughts on what doesn't work. But again, I'm definitely going to recommend it. I really like the show. So then part two, what we're going to discuss is what works in season 6, part 2. And of course, we're going to have just an in-depth discussion about the ending and leading up to the finale of Cobra Kai. Okay, so the first part here is more of the non-spoiler, but it's going to be the shorter portion, which is why, despite me praising the show, I'm going to give you some reasons why you probably shouldn't watch it, or it may not be for you. That way you can make an informed reason of say, oh, I'm going to watch the show, or nah, it's not for me. I would say you could, in theory, just start with season 6 if you wanted to just catch up with some friends, because it does provide context slightly as you're moving along, but the show benefits massively from the history of all the characters, because trust me, they do some messed up stuff to one another. It's sometimes it get pretty dark, I'm gonna be honest. That's why I wonder, is this a kid's show or an adult show sometimes? I mean, again, this is also the downside, is that some characters do seem the need to repeat their objectives or core problems. You will understand these characters forwards and backwards, and sometimes for pacing you want to move along a little faster. At the same time, I feel like it's not too bad, so that's a fair warning, right? Additionally, one of the tropes of the shows, without spoiling anything, is that major fights do tend to break out. But oddly, it seems like there's never any cops to do arrest, calm things down. It seems in this universe, everyone gets away with a lot, and they can skirt the law and definitely suspend disbelief. It makes me laugh because I'm like, there's literally an all-out gang war happening and people are getting massively hurt. What is going on here? So it's more of the current season, and I don't want to spoil too much because I mean, that's also what they did in the Karate Kid movies as a trope. I would just say in the movies they're on a smaller scale, but this is on a larger scale and it gets really ridiculous at times. And for some people they'll be like, oh, I'm done. This is crazy. I know my wife watched it and she was like, what? How is that even possible? And you kind of have to suspend your disbelief. When you do, it becomes a lot more interesting. But again, my last point, if you dislike high school drama type movies or TV shows, well, this is what the kids are in. They're in high school. So some of the stuff, it's like, it could be just a major plus for you, or it can be oh God, I don't want to deal with that. Because a lot of the problems could be solved with just better communication, and that really is the point as well. But it could annoy viewers, just wishing they could get things fixed. Like, come on, just stop it, because a lot of the problems could be avoided. But now on the opposite end, I do appreciate how well they pit individuals against one another, and how the plot constantly stacks up interweaving stories. It makes sure the story, while it has the stars, gives everyone a limelight or purpose. It's what makes the show so interesting. After 6 seasons, they have done only better at having situations that cause grief and problems for others, even if they're done with positive intentions. They have characters with strong beliefs, and hold on, I gotta go back to the other one. And in the new season, there is a situation where a character has some positive intentions, and it's just like, dude, you were not thinking, how could you do that to your friend? I just had to stop myself in the script right there, because it kind of goes to that point, but it causes a drama, right? It causes the problems. And it kind of shows you the characters that have strong beliefs in different areas and why they might not get along. Okay, so I know we've been skirting around the spoilers. So now this section is lots of spoilers. So here what works overall with season 6 part 2. We're reaching the ultimate goal of the Senkai Taikai. Characters who could repeat the same problems are finally coming to a close of this is the last time. The last time they're going to compete with each other, as they talked about that in the locker room. The last time some of them are going off to college, some of them are going off to MIT, some of them are securing a future, some of them are trying to get out of the pit hole that they're in. But also their senseis, for the last time, they're really trying to figure out who they are and who they want to finally become as they teach their children the next generation. The tournament itself against the villains is pretty clear. We got John Kreese kind of making a return. Again, it's kind of silly. It's like, dude, how did this guy get out of prison? It's like, you serious? Like, you're going to put this guy in front of kids? Again, it's just kind of another shot at Cobra Kai, right? And then the twist is that they have Silverback. Again, it's like, dude, how'd this guy get out? Like, we have some of the weakest, like, jury systems ever, or like the courts throughout the case. Like, what? Now, again, the issue is that everyone skirts the law, so it's like, how is this happening? And they shouldn't be around kids, which is a major flaw in my opinion in the writing. But if you suspend your disbelief, the clash of characters and how they're doing it is just really interesting. It's like, man, that's pretty crazy. We have the story of friends who are about to go on their own path, you know, Eli and Dimitri. Then we have the couples such as Robbie and Tori. Then we have Miguel and Samantha. Then we have the three senseis, really, or maybe four at this point, just all having the closure on their stories and their history when they grew up from the movies and kind of passing off to another generation. We have the two dojos pushing together, Cobra Kai and Miyagi-Do, but then against the John Kreese Cobra Kai. So at least we know who the villains are and who they're trying to win against, which is why exciting. I mean, it's exciting overall because we got 6 seasons of all this drama, but seeing how it finally unfolds is really interesting. A lot of people who you would deem as villains are now on the good guy side, and we're kind of seeing this kind of like Dragon Ball Z, where you see Vegeta kind of go across becoming the hero, right? And I feel like we're kind of due towards the end of like a final montage. This person went on to do this and did that. See some happy endings, but also finally some justice being served. The cliffhanger that we are left on is also one of just competing dojos, Cobra Kai, their lead characters along Tori and Quan. This is where, you know, one of the biggest issues, you know, again, with the skirting the law, okay? Quan, who is part of Cobra Kai, is like their main lead, was killed in an outbreak on accident during like the whole fist fight that was going on. It leads at how in the world, despite the chaos, they keep this going. Like, how is the Senkai Taikai going to keep going after literally on live television somebody was killed? I mean, essentially what happened is John Kreese dropped his knife in the chaos. He was trying to potentially kill Silver in the chaos, which is also literally going to be a major crime. Kreese is looking for his end in the story as well. He's looking for some closure. They're all looking for closure, but everyone is left fighting it out. But all the frustration every person had with each other was unfolding on the mat, from people's strained love interests, for personal grudges. It was an absolute shock to me if this tournament keeps going, because it was literally on television. So again, it kind of explains like, where are the cops? I mean, it was literally a gang war. So even with the villains, they're all looking like, oh my God, how is all this happening? And then the kids involved, the stress of the adults leading to this, it was like, the biggest question is, I know Tori even asked her sensei, is it even all worth it? And then we have the question, what is the point of Miyagi-Do? What did our senseis try teaching us? Why are we having these brutal, violent acts that are happening? We've heard a lot of people trying to learn karate. Why are they fighting so hard? So I wonder how the show will reinforce that, despite Daniel LaRusso struggling to understand who his mentor was and what was the point of kicking off the series again. Because the next final part 3 of this is supposed to wrap it all up. So we need to understand, what will the leading message be? And I question how they'll wrap up being such a heartful message, or one that has no good resolution. Because if they go with a no good resolution, then, I mean, at the same time, we don't want all happy sunshine rainbows, but there has to be some closure here. Because then what was the point of reviving all this? And there's so much at stake in terms of what is right and what is wrong, and it could go down a pretty slippery slope. So be sure to subscribe when the ending hits. I'd love to cover each of these character arcs and talk about them, because right now we are really, really close to seeing something really special. I'll be honest, the next 5 episodes released, we're going to produce a different video and complain, wow, they really screwed everything up. It's at that breaking point right now with the TV show, because they are saying it's the end. So it's the end. So we're about to really see something truly magical, where we go back and watch the series and say, wow, look where that character ended up. We're like, wow, this story sucked. And I mean, that's kind of the extremes that we're at, because it's so close to brilliance. And I think it could be one of those cult followings. And I would really appreciate if you subscribe so we can sit here and talk about it more. So thank you guys again so much for watching and your support. We produce a lot of shorts here on the channel. We're still a brand new channel trying to grow, so it means a whole lot to have your support here. Thank you guys again. See you guys all in the next one.